girl Janae of All Things Janae, and welcome back to your favorite channel. And on today I'm going to be showing you guys how I sublimate my 20-ounce tumblers with a convection oven. It's going to be so easy, like a child could learn. But the only thing you guys will need is a computer, of course, a sublimation printer with sublimation ink, sublimation paper, a heat gun, shrink wrap, which I don't have yet, but I'm going to get it up here. Heat tape. I use two different kinds of heat tapes to sublimate mine, but you guys only need one, and I prefer it to be this one. Scissors, and of course a tumbler blank, and that's all you guys will need. Okay, for the first step, I'm just gonna go over to Etsy and go to my purchases, of course. Then I'm gonna download the file. And once the file is downloaded, I'm just gonna go over to print. And these are my settings. I use US Legal for the paper size. Of course, I'm gonna always mirror my image when I'm sublimating. And of course, my print settings aren't shown in this clip, but I always use premium presentation paper matte with high quality. And then for my color profile, I use the Epson Gray Gamma 1.8 settings. Okay, now that everything is set correctly, you're just gonna go ahead and print the image. Okay, now that my image is printed, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. And before you even start cutting, I recommend that you always remember to look to see if you remember to mirror your image, because the last thing you want to do is wait till you finish with your tumbler to decide, oh dang, I forgot to remember my image. Because sometimes you really do get carried away and you're just working, and then you realize, oops, I made a mistake, and it's too late. It's too late. Unless we find a way to change the image on our tumblers, which I'm looking into that now. Okay, once that part is done, you're just gonna take your tumbler and lay it over your image and try to align your tumbler with the image. And once you get it aligned correctly, as you can see, I have a little bit hanging over the top, and I'm just gonna roll it into the image as tightly as I can. And as you're rolling the tumbler, just remember to squeeze out any air pockets that you can while securing the tumbler wrap as tightly as possible. Okay, and once you get it tight enough, you're just gonna secure it with heat tape. And that's when I use the blue tape to go ahead and secure my tumbler wrap. I already had pre-cut pieces, so it was easy for me to just grab it and tape. And once I lay my tape down, I just guide it with my thumb to make sure I'm squeezing out any other air that may be inside the wrap. And I'm just going to keep squeezing that same manner as I go up the tumbler to make sure I don't have any air pockets as I'm going, or create any as I'm going rather. And as you can see in this clip, I'm using one hand to guide and squeeze out air while using the other to hold the tumbler wrap firmly in place as I go. And you continue that same process until you get all the way to the top. Okay, once that process is complete, I just simply grab the tumbler and make sure I feel firmness. And once I feel the firmness of the tumbler, I just take my thumb and go up and down the seam of it to make sure I don't feel any air bubbles. If I ever feel any of those things, I'm going to simply unwrap the tumbler and start all the way over. But as you can see, I didn't feel any of those things, so I just kept going. And now, to prevent any ghosting around the top and the bottom, I just go ahead and take my brown tape and I kind of squeeze and press against the tumbler while I'm taping the top and the bottom. I do like 2 rows of it just to secure the very top and the very bottom on each end. So after I was done taping the bottom part, I noticed there was a little pocket of air that was there. So I began trying to work it out, but it didn't come out. Sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. It didn't come out, so I began to just cut the yellow tape off of the bottom. And then once the yellow tape was off, I worked the air out. Well, I undid it just a tad bit to work the air out. And then I retaped it. Okay, now that the entire tumbler is secure, you're just going to get out your heat gun and your shrink wrap sleeve. And you're just going to slide the sleeve onto the tumbler. And then you're going to use your heat gun to shrink the shrink wrap. Okay, so with the shrink wrap, it's not really a work of art, so you're not really trying to make it perfect. You just want to secure the shrink wrap onto the tumbler. Okay, once you get your shrink wrap secured onto your tumbler, you're going to flip your tumbler over, either to the top or the bottom. Both of them should look like this. And you're going to pull out your black marker or your Sharpie, and then you're just going to section the tumbler off with imaginary lines, of course, onto 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And with this, it works as a guide so you can know where to flip your tumbler over as you're making it. Okay, and since I don't have a tumbler press just yet, I use my girl, my A1 since day one, a Wolfgang Puck pressure oven. She's been with me since day one, and she was actually gifted to me for this tumbler business. Yes, I could have washed my girl off a little bit, but I ain't realized it was going to show up like this. Y'all forgive me. And of course, I only use her to make tumblers. Okay, I had my convection oven set to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop my tumbler in with the one facing up. And of course, I'm going to rotate it at 1 minute each turn. I was a little delayed in this clip, but as you can see, I just used my phone as my timer. Every time we reach a 1 minute interval, I just politely rotate the tumbler with the numbers going up. And as you can see here, that's the 2 minute mark. Time for rotation number 3. Okay, and here for the 3 minute mark, we have the 3rd and final rotation. Okay, finally we got our little press going. Now I'm just going to continue using the oven mitt because it's still hot, of course, and a weeding tool. And I'm just going to peel the shrink wrap backwards with my hand never touching anything other than the tape or the shrink wrap because, of course, it's hot and you don't want to get burned. Of course, you want to try to go ahead and get the shrink wrap off while the tumbler is still hot because if not, it'll try to stick to the bottom of your cup. And once the shrink wrap is hardened, it's almost impossible to get it off without scraping the cup. Okay, now that the shrink wrap is completely off, we're just going to remove any other tape from the top and the bottom and the seam, of course. And then we have our big reveal. And for the big reveal, we have our shooting star. Y'all, I love me some Rod Wave, but I ain't gonna lie, this tumbler wrap is not exactly my favorite. I'm used to the quality of the image being a little bit better. But nevertheless, I'm sure my cousin is gonna love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I taught well. I hope you guys can take something from it. Be sure to please leave feedback, like, comment, and subscribe.